Questions?
Hey, Tom, I think you've talked before about it's not who starts, but how you finish. And I guess, Josh, whole fourth quarter and the contribution you made down the stretch there. Before about it's not who starts, but how you finish. And
I thought we got off to a good start.
Fourth quarter and the contribution you made down the stretch.
Then we finished the half pretty good. And then we were at our best in the fourth. And a lot of guys stepped up. I thought Cat's presence, Josh all-around play, doing what Josh does, everything. I thought Deuce gave us good minutes when Jalen was in foul trouble. OG was terrific throughout. Mitch gave us good minutes. And then Landry and DeLon did a really good job as well.
Tom, obviously Towns 20 in the fourth. Just was there a concerted effort to seek him and hunt him, especially with the lineups that you had on the floor?
Well, I think that's sort of the mantra of the team. They're unselfish guys. When someone gets going, right, you try to continue to keep them going, and that's recognizing what's working. And so it was everyone working together to find open shots for them, which I think is important.
Tom, you often talk about like next man up mentality. Right over here, DeLon and Landry, two veterans who hadn't played much, were out there on the floor when you guys really started to stabilize that. I guess the importance of having veterans on a team like this.
Yeah, the high character guys, and both guys have done a good job. And we picked up DeLon late, but Landry's been terrific all year. And he had the unfortunate injury in training camp or preseason. But he's played really well, and he's great for the team. He's always ready, and the same could be said for DeLon. So they're really, really good pros. And when I say that, I mean they do the right thing every day, and that goes a long way. It's not just lip service; it's actually doing the actual work, which I think is important.
Tom, your guys, over the course of time since you've been with the Knicks, they play tough. They play through injuries, but Carl was grabbing his knee pretty good, and then Josh fell awkwardly on his knee. Do you have any concern with either of those guys for Game 4?
No, I don't know if you're aware, but our medical team is voted the best in the league. So they are tough-minded. I think it's at this time of the year, the mental toughness is probably more important than the physical toughness, and both of those guys are mentally tough, which I think is huge.
DeLon and Landry, obviously, you just said, had such a big impact. What about the game did you see that had you give them all that playing time and more playing time than they usually get?
Well, foul trouble probably helped. Yeah, but like we were going to play them, put them in the rotation just to get a different look, and it ended up unfolding because Deuce picked up 3 fouls in a minute and 22. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. So there was, some unusual calls, to say the least.
Tom, that's what I was going to ask you about Deuce, those 3 quick fouls, but then he had that one spurt where I think he scored 7 or 8 points in a row for you guys.
Yeah, it's not easy to do, particularly when, like you go to the bench after a minute and then you got to still stay in the game mentally. And so, but I thought his intensity was huge for us. He's a catalyst. It's his defense, his hustle, and I think it gives people energy when you see him flying around like that.
Tom, it's now 3 wins when you've been down by 20 in the playoffs. Can you kind of put into words what that's like as someone who's been around this game for a long time?
Yeah, and I think it's sort of in playoff basketball. I know you guys roll your eyes when I say no lead is safe, but no lead is safe because I think with the 3-point shot, people make up ground quickly, pace of the game, make up ground quickly. So you see comebacks all the time, and if you let up just a little bit, that's what happens. And so you got to win games different ways. Obviously, you prefer to play from a lead, but if whatever it is that you have to do, that's what you have to do to get the win in the end. And going into the game, we talked about you don't play the series, you play the game. Just focus in on what it takes to win tonight's game. That's all we're thinking about.
Hey, Tom, the lineup change. What can you kind of take us through? What went into that decision?
We could.
You could,
but we won't.
You did, though. You did actually. You actually did it. So what went behind actually doing it?
Yeah, just, and again, the same thing, and I said this to you guys earlier, it really didn't impact either guy from a minute standpoint. So to me, when Mitch was coming off the bench, he's a starter coming off the bench. Josh comes off the bench, he's a starter coming off the bench. Their minutes are going to be the same. And both guys mix and match. They both guys are comfortable with both units. And the thing that I love about Josh is the unselfishness. Like he's one, like you're concerned because you're not only impacting him, but you're impacting other guys in the starting lineup. So you got to make sure that that's all good. And then you're also impacting the second unit in a different way. So then you got to figure out, okay, how can we put this all together where we can make it work? And so that also factored into those other guys working in so we could get all the things that each guy provided for both units.
Tom, can you talk a little bit more? I know you said people realized he was hot and they were getting the ball to Cat, but I mean, he was dunking, he was shooting threes. I mean, he was doing it when Jalen, your other top scorers, in major foul trouble. What's that like to watch for you guys?
That's great. I think everyone has different strengths and weaknesses. And so we always talk about playing smart. And when you're playing smart, you're playing to your strengths and you're covering up your weaknesses. So you can't get here without being a great player. So whatever it is that you do great, that's what we want you to lock into. And not only understanding what you do well, but also understand what your teammates do well. So lead them into the things that they do well and cover up what their weaknesses are. When you do that, you're playing smart and you're enhancing your chances of winning. And Cat, as we know, is a very gifted scorer. He can score 3 different levels. He's comfortable at the three-point line. He's comfortable putting it on the floor. He's comfortable playing back to the basket. So as long as he stays aggressive, it's a huge plus for us. And then the double team comes, and then he can make off that.
Tom, we don't see Jalen on the bench often when you guys are playing well in the fourth quarter. Obviously, he has the foul trouble. He comes off, I think, 7 minutes to go. He comes back 1:45 or so. How are you determining, all right, it's time to go back to Jalen at this point?
Probably more time and score, and just, trying to get it to the point where you felt like, okay, what do we need in the game right now? And the group was sort of in a good rhythm. So we probably went a little bit longer than normal, but I didn't like, it was hard. Like even, Mikhail's last foul, it was hard to judge how they were calling the game. So that was a big concern. And I knew we had to have him down the stretch. So.
Tom, less specifically about who got added to the rotation tonight, but normally as the series goes along, especially if it's a 2-0 deficit or something, a coach will shorten the rotation. You decided to lengthen yours. How did you come to that decision to kind of expand it to 9?
Whatever gives your team the best chance to win. I don't really. You guys always, I know you try to put everything into a box. I don't work that way. So, like people think, I want a low-scoring game. No, I just want one more point than they have. I don't care if it's low-scoring, high-scoring, medium-scoring. I just want to win. That's the bottom line. Whatever gives us the best chance to win, that's what we're going to do. And so that's what I felt was going to give us the best chance to win tonight's game. So that's why we did it.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Poor job of closing the third quarter and not a good enough start to the fourth quarter. Turned it into, a real back and forth game, and they executed down the stretch, and we did not execute well enough. So credit them for fighting hard, hanging in. We got a pretty good lead in the third quarter, but didn't do a good enough job of attacking, but also avoiding miscues. So difficult loss. So we'll watch it tomorrow, and there are a lot of things we can do better.
Rick, just 42 points for you guys in the second half. Why do you think your offense stalled to the extent that it did?
Well, they had a lot of their better defenders in the game in the second half, and that makes it harder. And so, you've got to grind defensively to get rebounds, and there's a different element of grinding when you're going against their better guys, and so we're going to have to do better in a lot of those situations. And there were times we got good shots and just simply didn't hit them, and that's all part of this.
Towns had 20 in just that fourth quarter. What went wrong defending him in that frame?
Didn't do a good enough job. He's got a hair trigger, and you think you're close enough to him, and he just flicks the wrist. So he hit some threes. He got to the rim. He played great down the stretch.
Aaron obviously goes down with the ankle injury in the third, comes back. I mean, what was kind of his situation, basically? What did he have to do to work through it? What kind of, I guess, shape is he in coming out of that? And I guess how much did that kind of knock everybody back on their heels a little bit when a guy like Aaron goes out?
Yeah, it certainly is a factor. He went back to the training room, got it looked at, believe he got it retaped. He was doing things in the hallway to get moving again. And then I got the word that he was good to go back in, that he was moving without limitation at that point in time. And so rather than wait, I decided the best thing to do is get him back in there so that he didn't stiffen up anymore. And then down the stretch, he seemed to move okay to me, just from the eye test standing there, but I haven't studied the film yet. And obviously we'll know more tomorrow.
What was your read on just how the team reacted to him being out? Basically, I mean, it seemed like there was obviously a few minutes they had to come back in part because of that. Did it take everybody else a while to get used to him not being there and him being out?
Well, I don't know what exact time was it that he got
6:06
of the third.
6:06 of the third.
Of the third, yeah. I mean, like you lose a guy like that, it affects your ability to close a quarter, so maybe there's a factor there, but look, we're not going to make excuses. I mean, we've come back from big leads, we lost a lead today. Regardless of who's out there, we got to be able to attack better and do the things to maintain it and finish the game. We just simply did not execute as well as we needed to.
They obviously played a lot more guys than they usually do. It went a lot deeper into that into their benches. How did you see those guys change things? Seeing some players that you haven't really seen very much in the series.
Yeah, McBride got 3 fouls in the first quarter, I guess, and so that took him out of it. So, I don't know what their plan was coming into the game, but the guys that came in, they battled, they battled and did a very good job, and so. We gotta circle the wagons and do better.
Rick, obviously you all defended Jalen Brunson better overall this game. What do you think led to that? And also towards the end, what do you think allowed him to kind of get over the hump still a little bit with 6 points over the last 77 seconds?
Yeah, I mean, he's a walking basket. He's just hard to guard. We're trying to make it hard on him. Yeah, I don't know the entire sequence of everything down the stretch. He made one tough runner. That's a wrong-footed contested two. I mean, it's a shot he makes. But look, they made plays and we didn't. When it got to that point in the fourth quarter. So, give them credit and we gotta do better.
Rick, specifically in that third quarter, what do you think allowed you guys to get a little out of kilter offensively in terms of not just running your offense, but trying to find Brunson, trying to get him into movement situations, or trying to get him because he has 4 fouls coming into the quarter. What kind of got away from you guys offensively?
Yeah, I haven't looked at it yet. I don't know exactly. I do know that when we started building a lead and the crowd got into it, things got a little crazy. We had some back and forth kind of, nutty plays with some turnovers and stuff like that. So much of playoff basketball is doing the basics really well, and in those instances, being able to keep a level of poise along with aggression. And so, I'll look closer at it tonight. But clearly we didn't do well enough in that area.
We're just 42 in that second half. What did you see as the reasons your offense stalled for much of that?
We had some missed shots, 5 for 25 from 3. That's not ideal. I thought I got to watch film to really see our offensive processes, what they really were. Felt like we got kind of stagnant on that end, but we'll see where we can get better, watch film, and be ready to go for game 4.
What are you reading on the drives to decide to shoot or pass in this series? It felt like a lot of kickouts today.
Yeah, I don't know, just trying to feel out the game, see who's rotating over, see who the rotations are. Obviously Mitch is their, main rim protector, so when he's coming over, just trying to make the right play. But yeah, I could definitely be better there. But again, I watch the film, see, my areas of improvement, see how I can get better for game 4.
20 from Cat in that fourth. What do you think you guys need to do better against that?
Yeah, I thought we probably fouled too much down there. And he's just a guy who flick of the wrist, he can see over guys 7 foot, big dude. So, we got to get up and just do a better job of showing help in the gaps. But yeah, again, just something we'll watch film on and correct.
Just, how much did you see things kind of change when AA went down? He obviously comes back, but I mean, at that moment when you see a guy, considering what he's done, especially in these playoffs, go down, how did that kind of shake people up? And do you think it took a while to kind of get past that?
Yeah, obviously it's not ideal. He's been such a big part of what we do, and he is such a big part of what we do. So it's not ideal to see. So we'll see what happens. How he's feeling and all those things. But he gutted it out for us, came through. We are definitely AA is a big part of what we do. So obviously not ideal.
How did they change it by going a little bit deeper in their bench? Obviously, they changed the starting lineup, but they also played a lot more guys that you haven't seen very much in terms of minutes. I mean, just how did that change the dynamic, especially in terms of what they were able to do on defense?
With other guys playing, those are, I think those, especially all 4 of the guys who played off the bench are really defensive guys, and they come in and wreak havoc. And I thought we just didn't do a good job of, continuing to play fast. I felt like I did a poor job of keeping pace in the game, especially in the fourth there. I felt like I was walking the ball up every play. So I know it's a big area of improvement for me. I already know that's what I'm going to see on the film most of the time. So just got to do a better job of keeping pace in the game. Obviously a 42-point half isn't us. So we'll see what we can do better there, and we'll improve on it.
I guess, was there a read thing as to why you were walking up the floor more? Was there? I mean, you obviously always throw the ball up. You always want to. And was there something that was telling you, it's a good idea to slow it down?
Well, I think just trying to get guys in the right positions. I think down the stretch, a game like this comes down to 1 or 2 possessions. So just trying to execute the right way, get guys in the right spots. But yeah, it's definitely an area where I know when I watch film, I'm going to kick myself for. I'm already thinking about it, kicking myself for it. So, I think that's just part of it, and I got to be better there. Honestly, I think a lot of our offensive struggles in the second half were, due to me. So, I got to be better there, and I will be better in game 4.
We talked just about the half in general, but I guess what did you not like about especially late game stuff, and what stood out to you kind of, I guess, in the last few minutes when it's a shot-to-shot, possession-to-possession stretch?
Yeah. I don't think our execution was great. I didn't do a great job of getting downhill and, just making plays. I got to do a better job there. I think I'm relied on to do a lot down the stretch of games, get guys in the right positions. And I feel like I didn't do personally a great job at that. I think especially Pascal had to go in there, probably should have gotten the ball a little bit more. But I feel like we got some decent looks, but we can definitely be better there. Execution down the stretch, we can definitely be better, and that starts with me. So, you live with it, you watch film, and you get better, and you prepare for game 4.
Ty, being on the other end of like the tight game and kind of losing it this time, I guess what do you take away from it? And is there anything different? Like, do you look at the process or do you focus on the result? Like, how do you kind of look at it?
Well, you got to focus on the result because it's 2-1. And that's a game that, we feel like we were in position to win and didn't do a good job in the second half. But it's always process. That's what it always is. Where can we get better? We feel like offensively we've had a great series thus far. I would say that was our first real bad half offensively. So we got to be better there. And then defensively, you hold that team like that's 106. That's you should win that game. So we got to. 100 points isn't isn't us, So kudos to them. They did a good job, but there's definitely areas that we can improve on. And like I said, I'm sure we'll have a great film session tomorrow. Guys will watch film on their own tonight and tomorrow and see where we can get better. It's one day in between games, so it is what it is. You watch film, then you just flush it and get ready for Game 4.
Ty, that third quarter specifically, you guys were up 15 for good stretches, but it never expanded.
Yeah.
In fact, it went down.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
specifically in those minutes, what do you think happened?
Yeah, it's just such a thing that I have to watch film to give you a better answer on. It felt like the game was just like stuck there, which is a weird feeling. It felt like every time we scored, they scored. Every time we didn't, we got to stop. Never could, fully pull away. So again, I don't really know the real answer. I got to watch film, see where we can get better. There, I thought the ball got stuck a little bit. I felt like a lot of our turnovers came in the second half, which that could be wrong, right? I could be telling you the wrong thing, but I feel like we just did a better job of valuing the ball in the first half. So, yeah, it's something I got to watch film on, see where we can get better. But, yeah, that third quarter was definitely a weird quarter where it was just we never really pulled away, and it just kind of stayed in that 13 to 15 range. And then McBride made some big shots there late in the quarter, and that kind of gave him some momentum. We got a big dunk there to make it a 10-point game. And, we just didn't I don't think we started the fourth right, ended the fourth right. And that's the most important thing with quarters, especially in the playoffs. So, it's a thing I have to watch film to give you a better answer on. But, definitely a weird flow to it. And it's just part of it. You'll watch it, see where we can get better.
Yeah, Ty. You actually won the turnover battle, but one of the biggest stats that jumped up to me is they had scored 22 points off of turnovers, and you guys had scored only 8.
Yeah.
And do you think that might be because of some of these defensive guys that kind of stopped you guys in transition, so those live turnovers didn't hurt them as much?
Again, that's the thing I have to watch film on. I thought decision making probably wasn't the best, especially on my end. Had a couple bad turnovers there and in transition, missed the transition 3 on the right wing. Had the turnover, OG stole. So, I think we got to make better decisions there. But it's definitely a thing you want to execute when you force turnovers and get rebounds. I mean, we run the rebound, or did we? No, we lost. No, you won it. Oh, we won the rebound battle. Yeah, so I feel like obviously that's the biggest point of emphasis when you play this team, especially with them starting big, and for us to still win the rebound battle, that's ideal for us. So we just got to do a better job of execution. But again, I think offensively the ball probably got a little too stagnant. And granted, we didn't make shots. It's a make or miss league. You shot 20% from. Yeah, we got to shoot better from. We'll shoot better. That's not us. But you got to find ways to win, and we just couldn't do that today. So we'll see where we can get better. Watch film and be ready to go for Game 4.
Pascal, as you think about that second half, just 42 points for you guys after you were up 20 in the second quarter. What do you feel like went sideways offensively that you guys couldn't ever get it going the way you want?
Yeah, we didn't make threes at all. I didn't think we was playing out as fast. We didn't really attack the paint as much. But yeah, just when you shoot the ball like that, and then they got going. They got guys that got going. That group out there, they made big plays and they played better defense than we did. We still were solid on defense. I just thought we just didn't get a rhythm offensively.
How much do you feel like that was because of Cat putting in all those shots, start the fourth, couldn't run the way you wanted?
No, he won on the run. We weren't able to shut that off. So we got to get better at that. And he made some big plays at the end for them, and we weren't able to get stops when we needed them really. And also offensively, we didn't have our usual pop.
Ty just put a lot of the offensive struggles on himself, not getting the guys the pace you want. What can you guys do to help him play the speed you want and get the shots that he likes?
Wait, who said that? We just gotta play. We just gotta play our way. And again, he's our leader in terms of getting us on the floor and where we need to be. But we just gotta run better. We just didn't have that kind of ball movement and everything as much as we usually do. So we gotta fix that.
What I guess what did they do to kind of take you out of what you're doing, and in particular, how much did the guys that they played that they usually don't play change things? They obviously went a lot deeper in their bench through a lot of.
Yeah, I have no idea how much it impacted, to be honest. I just think, like, for us, like, no matter who's out there, like, we just got to play our way, and I don't think we did.
How did just the moment when Aaron goes down? Obviously, he came back in, but how much do you think that shook things?
Yeah,
up?
no, it's tough. I mean, obviously, we hope it's nothing, like, and he can be back with us. It's a huge part of what we do, offensively and defensively, especially. Yeah, he's a tough guy, and we'll just wish him well. Hopefully, he's with us next game.
Pascal, when you're on the other end of the close game, I guess what do you take away from it, and how much do you focus on the result versus trying to get back to the process? I mean,
yeah, they made some timely shots that we didn't, and the moments where we needed stops, we didn't get them. So it is what it is. We just gotta go back. Obviously, we're gonna watch film and figure out what we need to do better. Yeah, like in the moments where it was there, they made the shots and we did.
Pascal, Rick, Carlisle was in here talking about you guys may have lost a little bit of your poise in the second half, turnovers, and you guys are all talking about the ball movement and the ball get staticky. Is the poise? Were y'all maybe looking ahead? Is there any reason for that? And could it be that you're 15 points ahead, you're about to close out game 3 and kind of fell apart?
Nah, I mean, I think I don't know really what it was, but again, we're gonna watch it and make sure that we stay playing our way and I just thought we just didn't and again, when you shoot whatever from 3, like it's hard to win the game too.
That third quarter in particular, you guys were up 12, 15 for most of the quarter, but you never really could expand that lead. What do you think was going on there?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't make shots, and again, they made some timely, like, just buckets where, like, offensive rebound here, they get to kick it out at 3, or like, whatever, like broken play, like they made the plays, the 50-50 ball. We just didn't, and at one point we just couldn't really get that extra lead that we needed. And yeah, like we just gotta get better, regroup, and go back at it.
Pascal in the back here. What's the message to the team going into Game 4? You guys are still up 2-1. How do you regroup and make sure you get that win?
Yeah, we just gotta. It's one game at the end of the day, so we gotta go back for almost half of the game. We played really good defense. We played really good basketball, and the other half we didn't. So we just gotta go back to that and just figure out what went wrong and just go right back at it. It's one game and on to the next one.
Cat. Cat, Knicks Pacers has one of the most emotional rivalry histories in the league, and now you're a part of it. In a series like this, after a performance like tonight, Dominican Mother's Day, what part of your game or your mindset do you think just adds your name to it?
I'm just happy our team was able to get one in the left column to get a win tonight is big for our team and in the series as well. Looking at a 2-0 deficit, possibly a 3-0 deficit, it was just important for us to find a way to win, and as a team, we found a way to do that tonight.
Kat, that 8-minute stretch to start the fourth quarter, what did you have going there, and what did you see there that made you so successful?
Teammates put me in great spots to succeed, and I just wanted to capitalize on the opportunity, and just all of us were just doing whatever it takes to win and put ourselves in a position to get back in the game, 1, and 2, put ourselves in a position where, at the end of the game, we could find ourselves with a chance to win. So it's a shout out to the locker room, all of us finding a way.
This one's for either one of you. Obviously, Landry and Delon both came in and gave you guys big minutes that helped you guys propel the lead. Josh had a role change. and still played strong down the stretch. I guess, what does it say about some of the veterans on this team and the importance of having vets like that and guys who can be ready when their number is called?
Yeah, it says a lot. The professionalism they have and do whatever it takes to win. And we have a close-knit locker room, and just the way that the guys prepared and were ready to go tonight, and not being discouraged with our deficit and continuing to fight back speaks volumes for what those guys did tonight.
Jalen, you got in foul trouble again. You struggled with your shot a little bit early. What does it say about your mentality that you come back in the game late in the fourth quarter and you hit one of the biggest shots of the game?
Honestly, just focusing on the moment and clearing my mind and not really worrying about what's happened previously. And yeah.
For either of you guys, obviously big win tonight. Could have had game one or game two. So you're down 2-1 in this series. I'd love to know what you make of this series so far.
It's a series.
It's unpredictable. I mean, obviously, no lead safe, and both teams are going to continue to fight to the buzzer. And got a lot of respect for them over there. And we just got to continue to keep playing our style of basketball and keep grinding it out.
I guess for either one of you, you guys have done this before, down 20, but down 20, a lot of things, foul trouble, things aren't going right. Just kind of, what does it say about the mental toughness of this team?
It says a lot. In the locker room, we talked about the biggest part of our comeback and everything was, we could quickly start to point fingers. We can quickly start to just turn on each other. But we got together as a team, and we made sure that everyone was encouraging each other and making sure that it's not over. We got to keep fighting, keep chipping away. And we did that. And I'm just proud of the way we responded. And, yeah, we needed it.
Carl, in that fourth quarter, you just seem to be extremely locked into game time situation at kind of every possession. Even when you didn't have an outlet, bringing the ball up a few times and playmaking from there or going straight to the hoop. What inspired you to kind of pursue that quarter with that level of aggression and intensity?
Just saw an opportunity. Saw an opportunity to utilize all those hours I put into the gym. And game wasn't looking great for me as well, but for all of us. And I just wanted to do whatever it takes to help put us in a position to win. And like I said, it's a testament to my teammates, having trusted me and giving me, putting me in spots where I could succeed and utilize my talent. So it's just testing, shout out to the guys in the locker room. This is a great team win. But we know we got to be better than we were tonight if we expect to find a way to get another win.
Hey, Jalen, what do you think was going on the first 3 or 4 quarters, or most of the fourth quarter, that kind of got in your way? Was it the defense? You seemed really frustrated?
Sorry, when?
I would say most of the game, like up until you came back.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an emotional game. It's a long game. Things can happen. Things can not go your way, and you can easily, obviously, crash out, or you can respond the right way. And
crash out. I love that.
That's what came to mind. But I got people in my corner, people on this team who believe in me and believe in us, and so just the conversations that we have as a team and the encouragement, everything we do, is important, and especially throughout a 48-minute game. And so, just gotta continue to believe.
Carl, just following up on that emotional game kind of conversation, wondering what was the last day like for you? Frustrating fourth quarter, frustrating. You mentioned that the game wasn't looking so great the first 3 quarters. How are you able to compartmentalize, put those things behind you? What was your thought process like as you moved from New York to Indiana here?
Just, fourth quarter is different. It feels like a whole nother game. So just let, last game, those 3 quarters go and just focus on giving yourself a chance to win the game. I just, like I said, I just my teammates put me in spots to succeed. And to piggyback on the question earlier, did you expect anything less from JB? I mean, he got that award for a reason. So we knew when we got in that fourth quarter, we got late in the game, he came back in the game. I think we all felt very confident. If we could get him the ball, we would see some buckets happen.
This is for either one of you guys, but and this might be the third or fourth time where you guys have seen a 20-point deficit and then just erased it.
We're not proud of that.
I know. I know you guys would rather not be down 20, but the facts are when you are down 20, you come back to win. Just what happens in those moments where you're staring a deep deficit down that allows you guys to rally together and find a way to win where other
I think
teams
it's like
might
what
not.
JB said, just that locker room, it's a true test of we're actually that close in that locker room, if that unity, that continuity is truly there. When you're down, like you said, 20 plus, it tests the character of everyone in that locker room and our willingness to not give up and continue to fight. So, like I've said before, I think this team has shown grittiness all year. Detroit series, Boston series. Tonight was a night we got to show that kind of that never say quit attitude, and it's a testament to everyone in that locker room.
Jalen, in the first half, there were a couple moments where when you guys came out of a timeout, it looked like you would huddle the guys up after that. I don't know if I've seen that at least as much as you did it today. Maybe I'm wrong. Just kind of what was your thought process in making sure you guys talked again before you went back out there and taking that approach at that point in the game?
Just making sure we're all on the same page. Simple as that.
Jalen, Josh was saying talking about the decision to come off the bench. Said that he had been having a conversation with Tibbs for a couple of days now, since I guess after Game 5 of Boston.
Yep.
Just kind of, what does that say about him, that this is a guy who's been a starter all year, very productive, and is suggesting that?
Yeah, he wants to win, and it just shows who he is as a person, as a player, as a teammate. Doesn't care for anything individual, just wants to win, and so that's a true testament of a great teammate.
Appreciate it.